Hi, welcome back to the Everyday Ministry where we are reading The Color Purple. I know it's been a really long time. Also, my apologies for the lighting. We'll work on that another time. I am trying something new. StreamYard. I would like to start streaming in certain places and other platforms. So I figured why not give it a go while I read. I know it's been a while. I went on a little Christmas break so I could wrap up work, wrap up the holidays, and get back to reading with you all. We are picking up on page 171. Um, if you haven't noticed, I put a poll on my post for the book that we're going to read next. It seems like I only have 4 people vote, which is fine, but it seems like the vote will be for Waiting to Exhale. I have the book. I'm ready to read. I'm excited. So we are picking up with another letter from Nettie. Dearest Celie, this whole year after Easter has been difficult. Since Corinne's illness, all her work has fallen on me, and I must nurse her as well, which she resents. One day, when I was changing her as she lay in the bed, she gave me a long, mean, but somehow pitiful look. Why do my children look like you? She asked. Do you really think they look like me? I said. You could have spit them out, she said. Maybe just living together. Loving people makes them look like you, I said. You know how much some old married people look alike? Even these women saw the resemblance the first day we came, she said. And that's worried all this time? I tried to laugh it off, but she just looked at me. When did you first meet my husband? She wanted to know. And that was when I knew what she thought. She thinks Adam and Olivia are my children and that Samuel is their father. Oh, silly. This thing has been gnawing away at her for years. I met Samuel the same day I met you, Corrine, I said. I still haven't got the hang of saying sister all the time. As God is my witness, that's my truth. Bring the Bible, she said. I brought the Bible, I placed my hand on it and swore. You've never known me to lie, Corrine, I said. Please believe I'm not lying now. Then she called Samuel and made him swear that the day she met me was the day he met her. I'm sorry, that the day she met me was the day he met me also. He said, I apologize for this, Sister Nettie. Please forgive us. As soon as Samuel left the room, she made me raise my dress and she sat up in her sickbed to examine my stomach. I felt so sorry for her and so humiliated, Celie. And the way she treats the children is the hardest part. She doesn't want them near her, which they don't understand. How could they? They don't even know they were adopted. The village is due to be planted in rubber trees this coming season. The Olika hunting territory has already been destroyed, and the men must go farther and farther away to find game. The women spend all their time in the fields, tending their crops and praying. They sing to the earth and to the sky and to their cassava and groundnuts, songs of love and farewell. We are all sad here, Celie. I hope life is happier for you. Your sister, Nettie. This is crazy because Olivia and Adam look like Nettie because technically, I don't know if y'all know this, so I'm gonna just hold off until we get to because technically, okay, yeah, no, I'm right. Technically, they look like her because they are brother and sister. So, so Nettie is technically Adam and Olivia's auntie sister. Okay, and it's so crazy that she can't say anything. This is wild. So we're gonna keep going. And that's crazy how like all these years Corrine has thought that Samuel stepped out on her and had babies with Nettie. And I'm like, man, this is insane. But I don't know. She wouldn't have been able to lift up my dress and examine my stomach. Like, sis, I just swore in the Bible. What we not about to do is you checking my stomach and all that extra. We not doing that. Girl, bye. She would have been mad at me. Anyway. Dear Celie, guess what? Samuel thought the children were mine too. That is why he urged me to come to Africa with them. When I showed up at their house, he thought I was following my children, and as soft-hearted as he is, didn't have the heart to turn me away. If they are not yours, he said, whose are they? But I had some questions for him first. Where did you get them? I asked. And Celie, he told me a story that made my hair stand on end. I hope you, poor thing, are ready for it. Once upon a time, there was a well to do farmer who owned his property near town, our town, Celie. And as he did so well farming and everything he turned his hand to prospered, he decided to open a store and try his luck at selling dry goods as well. Well, his stores did so well that he talked two of his brothers into helping him run it. And as the months went by, they were doing better and better. Then the white merchants began to get together and complain that this store was taking all the black business away from them. And the man's blacksmith shop that he set up behind the store was taking some of the white business. This would not do. And so one night, the man's store was burned down, his smithy destroyed, and the man and his two brothers dragged out of their homes in the middle of the night and hanged. The man had a wife whom he adored, and they had a little girl barely 2 years old. She was also pregnant with another child when the neighbors brought her husband's body home. It had been mutilated and burnt. The sight of it nearly killed her, and her second baby, also a girl, was born at this time. Although the widow's body recovered, her mind was never the same. She continued to fix her husband's plates at meal times, just as she'd always done, and was always full of talk about the plans she and her husband had made. The neighbors, though not always intending to, shunned her more and more, partly because her attachment to the past was so pitiful. She was a good-looking woman, though, and still owned land, but there was no one to work it for her, and she didn't know how to herself. Besides, she kept waiting for her husband to finish the meal she cooked for him and go into the fields himself. Soon, there was nothing to eat that the neighbors did not bring, and she and her small children grubbed around in the yard as best they could. While the second child was still a baby, a stranger appeared in the community and lavished all his attention on the widow and her children. In a short while, they were married. Almost at once, she was pregnant a third time, though her mental health was no better. Every year thereafter, she was pregnant. Every year, she became weaker and weaker, more mentally unstable, until many years after she married the stranger, she died. 2 years before she died, she had a baby girl that she was too sick to keep. Then a baby boy. These children were named Olivia and Adam. This is Samuel's story, word for word. The stranger who married the widow was someone Samuel had run with long before he found Christ. When the man showed up at Samuel's house with first Olivia and then Adam, Samuel felt not only unable to refuse the children, but as if God had answered his and Corinne's prayers. He never told Corinne about the man or the children's mother because he hadn't wanted any sadness to cloud her happiness. Then, out of nowhere, I appeared. He put two and two together, remembered that his old running buddy had always been a scamp, and took me in without any questions, which, to tell the truth, had always puzzled me, but I put it down to Christian charity. Corrine had asked me once whether I was running away from home, but I explained I was a big girl now. My family back home was very large and poor, and it was time for me to get out and earn my own living. Tears had soaked my blouse when Samuel finished telling me all this. I couldn't begin then to tell him the truth. But Celia, I can tell you, and I pray with all my heart that you will get this letter, if none of the others. Pa is not our Pa. Your devoted sister, Nettie. Girl, so if you paid attention, you heard the reveal. That was not her father. Her father was killed, burned, and hanged in for being prosperous, basically. Her father was murdered. And then the dude came in, married their mom, and they had mad children. But anyway, we already know who the last two were because her mama died. Anyway, dear God, that's it. Say, Suge, pack your stuff. You're coming to Tennessee with me. But I feels days. My daddy Lynch, my mama crazy, all my little half brothers and sisters no kin to me. My children not my sister and brother, pa not my pa. You must be asleep. So, pause again. I just said, oh, that's auntie's sister, but I didn't want to make the reveal to you just yet. So that's not, they're not related. That's not sister or brother. Those are actually just her children by some nasty old man, unfortunately. So yeah, dear Nettie, for the first time in my life, I wanted to see Pa. So me and Shook dressed up in our new blue flower pants that match and big floppy Easter hats that match too. Correct? Except her rose is red. Sorry. Mine yellow. And us clam in the Packard and glide over there. They put in paved roads all up and down the country now, and 20 miles going like nothing. I saw Pa once since I left home. One day, me and Mister was loading up the wagon at the feed store. Pa was with May Allen, and she was trying to fix her stocking. She was bent down over her leg, twisting the stocking into a knot above her knee, and he was standing over her, tap, 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 tapping on the gravel with his cane. Looked like he was thinking about hitting her with it. Mister went up to them all friendly with his hand stuck out, but I kept loading the wagon, looking at the patterns on the sacks. I never thought I'd never want to see him again. Well, it was a bright spring day, sort of a chill at first, like it'd be round Easter. And the first thing us noticed, soon as we turned into that lane, is how green everything is. Like even though the ground everywhere else was not warmed up good, Paul's land is warm and ready to go. Then all along the road, there's Easter lilies and jonquils and daffodils and all kinds of little early wildflowers. And us notice all the birds singing their little cans off, all up and down the hedge. That itself is putting out little yellow flowers smell like a creeper. It all so different from the rest of the country us drive through. It make us real quiet. I know this sound funny, Nettie, but even the sun seemed to stand a little longer over our heads. Well, say Suge, all this pretty enough. You never said how pretty it was. It wasn't this pretty, I say. Every Easter time, it used to flood, and all us children had colds. Anyhow, I say, us stuck close to the house, and it sure ain't so hot. That ain't so hot, she asked, as we swung up a long, curving hill I didn't remember, right up into the big yellow two-story house with green shutters and a steep green shingled roof. I laughed. Us must have took the wrong turn, I say. This a white person's house. It was so pretty, though, that I stopped the car and just sat and looked at it. What kind of trees all them flowering? Asked Shug. I don't know, I say. Look like peach, plum, apple, maybe cherry. But whatever they is, they sure are pretty. All around the house, all back of it, nothing but blooming trees. Then more lilies and jonquils and roses clamming all over everything. And all the time, the little birds from all over the rest of the country sit up in these trees, just going to town. Finally, after us look at it a while, I say, it's so quiet, nobody home, I guess. No, say Shug, probably in church. Nice bright Sunday like this. Us better leave then, I say, before whoever it is lives here gets back. But just as I say that, I notice my eyes staying on a fig tree recognized, and us hear a car turning up the drive. Who should be in that car but Pa and some young girl look like his child. He get out on his side, then go around to open the door for her. She dressed to kill in a pink suit, big pink hat, pink shoes, little pink purse hanging on her arm. They look at our license tag and then come up to the car. She put her hand round, she put her hand through his arm. Morning, he says, when she gets up to Suge's window. Morning, she says slow, and I can tell he not what she expect. Anything I can do for you. He ain't noticed me and probably wouldn't if he looked at me. Suge say under her breath, is that him? I say yeah. What shocked Suge and shocked me too is how young he looked. He looked older than the child he with. Is how is how long he look older than the child he with, even if she is dressed up like a woman. But he look young for somebody to be anybody that got grown children and nearly grown grandchildren. But then I remember he not my daddy. He just my children daddy. What your mama do? Asked Should rob the cradle. But he not so young. I bought Celie. I bought Celie, say Should. Your daughter Celie. She wanted to visit you. Got some questions to ask. He seemed to think back a second. Celie, he said. Like, who's Celie? Then he said, y'all get out, and come up on the porch. Daisy, he said to the little woman with him, go tell Hetty to hold dinner. She squeezed his arm, reach up, and kiss him on the jaw. He turned his head and watched her go up the walk, up the steps, and through the front door. He followed us up the steps, up on the porch, help us pull out rocking chairs and say, now what y'all want? The children here? I asked. What children? He said. Then he laughed. Oh, they gone with their mama. She up and left me, you know. Went back to her folks. Yeah, he said you would remember May Allen. Why she leave? I asked. He laughed some more. Got too old for me, I reckon. Then the little woman came back out and sit on the armrest of the chair. He talked to us and fondled her arm. This Daisy, he said, my new wife. Why, say Suge, you don't look more than 15. I ain't, say Daisy. I'm surprised your people let you marry. She shrugged, look at Pa. They work for him, she said. Live on his land. I'm her people now, he said. I feel so sick I almost gagged. Nettie in Africa, I say. A missionary. She wrote me that you ain't our real Pa. Well, he said, so now you know. Daisy looked at me with pity all over her face. It's just like him to keep that from you, she said. He told me how he brought up two little girls that wasn't even his, she said. I don't think I really believed it till now. No, he never told them, say Suge. What a old sweetie pie, say Daisy, kissing him on top the head. He fondled and fondled her arm, look at me and grin. Your daddy didn't know how to get along, he said. White folks lynch him. Too sad a story to tell pitiful little growing girls, he said. Any man would have done what I done. Maybe not, asked Suge, or say Suge. He look at her, then look at me. He can tell she know, but what do he care? Take me, he say. I know how they is. The key to all of them is money. Oh, take me, he say. I know how they is. The key to all of them is money. The trouble with our people is as soon as they got out of slavery, they didn't want to give the white man nothing else. But the fact is, you got to give them something, either your money, your land, your woman, or your ass. So what I did was just write off what I did was just write off offer to give them money. Before I planted a seed, I made sure this one, I made sure this one and that one node one seed out of three was planted for him. Before I ground a grain of wheat, the same thing. And when I opened up your daddy's old store in town, I bought me my own whiteboard to run it. And that would make it and what make it so good, he say, I bought him with white folks' money. Ask the busy man your question, Celie say. Um, Ask the busy man your question, Celie, say Suge. I think his dinner getting cold. Where my daddy buried at? I asked. That's all I really want to know. Next to you, mammy, he say. Any marker? I asked. He look at me like I'm crazy. Lynch people don't get no marker, he say. Like this something everybody know. Mama got one, I asked. He said no. The birds sing just as sweet when us leave as when us come. Then look like as soon as us turn back on the main road, they stop. By the time us got to the cemetery, the sky gray. Us look for Ma and Pa, hope for some scrap of wood that say something. But us don't find nothing but weeds and cockleburs and paper flowers fading on some of the graves. Should pick up an old horseshoe somebody horse lose. Us took that old horseshoe and us turned round and round together until we were dizzy enough to fall out. And where us would have fell, us stuck the horseshoe in the ground. Suge say, us, each other's people now, and kiss me. Well, well, well. Well, so Celie finds out that her pa is not her pa, but is actually her stepfather. And that her father was lynched. Her mom went crazy because of how her father was killed. And she has now come to the understanding that her family is Nettie, Adam, Olivia, and Jug. So we are going to end there today. I will be back most likely next week to finish some more of the story. I'll probably read a little bit longer next time. Alrighty. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Love you.